Groovy.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you'll ever listen to.
Your final bros are here. It's Brian Hopboy LaGrasta and Shane, voted Best Squeezer 2009 Smith.
Okay, I'll take it. And we are reviewing The Evil Dead 2 to begin Cabin Month.
It's a special month. I am so hyped for Cabin Month. I love our themes on the show.
Me too. We're all about a good theme. And we're going to theme up in July as well. We're not going to say what it is. We like to leave you in suspense. But we got themes back to back to back.
Because number one, we leave you in suspense. Number two, we get to really suck the bone dry when it comes to Cabin Month.
Yes.
Really enjoying each and every review that we have for the next few weeks.
Exactly. And we're starting us off with Evil Dead 2, which is essentially a remake, but not remake of the first one.
Yeah.
So apparently this had to do with rights issues.
Yep.
Which is why they wanted to rehash what happened, but they weren't able to use the footage from the first movie. So instead, they just kind of reshot the first movie in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's interesting. The same director, too. So it was almost like a quick, reboot of the main movie in the first few minutes, but also, adding on to new concepts, while also not really bringing back anything from the first movie.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Conceptually keeping the same identity and idea.
Yeah. I mean, this movie is it's the same thing for the first one. If you like Bruce Campbell and you like that kind of Sam Raimi, wild style of gore and mayhem.
Yeah.
You'll love this movie.
This movie is the first movie, but even cranked up to infinity, because not only is it the same horror comedy in terms of the demons, the flesh-eating demons going nuts and talking and dancing and going nuts. This has that, but it also has inanimate objects coming alive.
Yes.
It has evil Bruce Campbell,
Incredible.
It introduces that. It really ties the story in kind of nicely.
It does. It also leaves off into the third one.
Yeah, it actually has a nice transition into the sequel, and it's very slapstick.
Yes.
Way more than the first one.
Yes, there's a lot of slapstick. Bruce Campbell is just perfect. He sells the slapstick.
I love
so
how
well.
he does some crazy shit when he's acting. He's doing all these stunts. He's front flipping on the kitchen floor. He's beating himself up. My question is that in real time, or do you think they sped that up?
Might have sped it up. I don't know exactly, but regardless, man, it's so well done. It looks so authentic. The inanimate objects coming to life in this movie with the deer head and the lamp laughing at him is so funny.
It's funny. The deer coming to life I thought it was actually kind of creepy.
When it starts laughing, it's so well done.
Crazy. Yeah.
The way the head stretches up. And then you have Ted Raimi playing the
Henrietta.
Yes.
The demon Henrietta.
I love it.
Incredible.
Ted Raimi is so great.
So great. Demon Henrietta, phenomenal. Honestly, I love it. I love everything about this movie. I just feel it's so over the top, and to try to explain everything is going to be a very daunting task. Because it, from the get-go, is so batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And it does not take its foot off the gas.
It never does.
Really doesn't.
And you know what doesn't take its foot off the gas? The spooky pit.
Let's enter the spooky pit. Let's do it. Evil Dead 2 was released in 1987. Ash Williams, the only survivor of a demonic onslaught, is back in a cabin to hold off another horde of flesh-possessing demons. This film was directed by Sam Raimi, and it stars Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams, Sarah Berry as Annie Noby, Dan Hicks as Jake, Cassie Wesley DePaiva as Bobby Joe. Bobby Joe! Where's Bobby Joe?
Where is Bobby Joe?
Bobby Joe!
I can't leave here without Bobby Joe.
He's please, for the love of God, stop saying that. And he's but Bobby Joe!
Right. So we're going to rehash the beginning of the last movie. Basically, we see Ash and his girlfriend Linda. They're going to go over the bridge. They're going to go to the cabin. Linda's going to get possessed. Linda's going to get killed by Ash. It happens within the first 10 minutes, maybe even less time than that, honestly.
He cuts her head off with a shovel.
Yeah. All stuff from the first movie.
Yep.
It's the retelling of the first movie.
Retells her, buries her in the woods.
Yep.
The whole deal.
Yep. And we get the whole he listens to the audio again. It's from the guy and his wife. We're gonna get a lot of backstory on his family. They're gonna come into the picture later on in the movie looking for him, and that's the kind of new dynamic. So instead of Ash, his girlfriend, and their friends, it's gonna be Ash and these new people looking for Henrietta and the husband.
Kind of like the side story with the family, and how
Yeah.
it comes into pretty well into the story, pretty seamlessly. I really liked it. Big fan of the Kandar Castle. I think you can find a lot of cool things in Kandar, like Necronomicons,
Yep.
books,
Yep.
other excavations.
Yes.
These people found missing pages. Need to find the missing pages, align them with the book, see what's going on there.
Yeah, I feel like the Kandahar. That sounds like somewhere you would find the creatures from Alone in the Dark.
The Afghani.
The Afghani tribe was hidden in the Kandahar Mountains.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking the same. But I love that little retelling of Nobi's father just talking about it. And I think it's just so fucking funny how the whole story is just like, oh my God, there's a phonograph. He's like, you want to read what's on there? And he's like, sure. And he mentioned that it's about like how like if this incantation is evoked,
Yes.
how like demons will come and live in the woods and possess the flesh.
Yes.
And he's like, and he's like, and I'll start by doing this incantation. And he just goes into the whole
Yes,
thing.
and it's like the fact that he recorded it sets everyone up for failure.
And it goes like this.
So, Bruce Campbell, we're gonna eventually get to the point where it leaves off where that like force is running at him.
Yes.
So what happens is that force smacks him, and it's really well shot where he's getting pushed through the forest and he's doing like some spins until he eventually hits a tree. I assume killing him? It doesn't kill him because he just ends up being possessed by the demon.
Yeah.
And Bruce Campbell demon face is terrifying. That demon has the strongest jaw I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is a thick jaw for sure. I think it's important to know when he kills her, he does take this locket.
Yes. Which he does do in the original.
Yes, he does.
As well.
Which I think it's something to note because the
Yes.
locket does come back into play. But yeah, do you like flying Bruce Campbell?
Yes.
He just literally just
He
going
then
nuts.
he goes head first into a puzzle where he kind of drowns almost, but that's how he turns into the demon.
yeah, because now that's just the way he it's almost like I don't know if he dies. But
That's what I was like.
I think he's at death's door. And
Yes.
then he like gets possessed because he comes out of it possessed with a strong chin jaw.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is the sun is out.
So the demon leaves him because of the sun.
Yeah, the demon's gonna recede because of the sun, and pretty much the smoke. Everything recedes because it's the new day.
And now he's able to get back to the cabin as a human. He does try to escape, but he sees the bridge is out, and that's when he does the scream, like, no. And he realizes he's trapped there. There's no way out. It's crazy that to get to this cabin is just one
Way
bridge.
in, one way out, yeah. So that's going to have to force him to go back.
Yes.
He's got to go back to the cabin where he knows he had one hell of a night. And I think actually on his way back, it's like already dark.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's how long he's been traveling. So we're going to cut to the other people. The daughter, I forgot her name.
It's Annie Nobi, I think.
Yes.
She's the daughter of the guy in the tape recorder.
Yes. Her boyfriend, and then they are making their way back to the cabin because she wants to check on her dad because of the pages she found.
She excavated and found some pages. These are the missing pages from the book he found in the Kandar Castle ruins.
Yes.
And like I said, it's supposed to evoke and finish some kind of incantation between worlds.
Yes.
Ooh.
So they're going to make their way over there. The issue is the bridge is out, so they can't get to the cabin.
But there's a random couple over there.
Yes, it's a mechanic, right? And his Bobby Joe.
Jake and Bobby Joe.
And they have another way of getting there.
Yeah, and they're going to negotiate.
Yes. What do they negotiate?
Well, first it goes from, he's like, I'll do it for 45, and Bobby Joe hits him. He's like, I'll do it for 100. So it becomes like 100, and he's got to take her bags and bring her another way.
Yes.
For 100 smackers.
Yes. So it's the four of them. It's Jake, Bobby Joe, the boyfriend, and Anne. And they're going to make their way to the cabin. But before they get to the cabin, let's talk about the madness that is ensuing with Bruce Campbell at this cabin.
This is the shit of nightmares.
Oh, are you talking about the stop motion Linda dancing and spinning in the forest.
I think my favorite part is the fact that she's dancing. She's doing a couple of pirouettes and then just flies into the distance.
Yes.
Like, did you check this fly off?
It's great. Let's talk about the fact that her body is spinning, but her head is not spinning. It's actually like nightmare fuel.
Because it's like her corpse.
Yes.
This is something out of a Tool music video.
No joke.
Fucking flies
It really
off.
is.
He's like, what the fuck is happening?
It is madness
Cabins
here.
at night hit different. And then you have this ghoulish smoke. And then she kind of just reappears.
She grabs him through the boarded up windows. And this is where this is Bruce Campbell doing his friggin' slapstick where his head is just getting jammed into boards.
How much damage has his body taken in this movie?
Oh my God. That man has Aaron Hernandez levels of CTE going on right now.
No joke. His head takes so much punishment.
Yeah.
The amount of dishware and china that gets cracked over his head. How many broken walls his head runs into.
And he's like starting to lose his mind where he's just sitting in a chair laughing maniacally to himself until he realizes the head is there and the head just bites his hand and he's got to start slamming it into walls. And then like, doesn't he like cut his own hand off?
So in order to like get rid of it, he has to take this out back to like the work shed, right?
Yes.
Because it won't get off his hand.
Yes.
And then he has to like legit, this is where the chainsaw comes in.
Yes.
The famous chainsaw, because he has to chainsaw it off his hand. He like sticks it in this like
The vice grip.
The vice grip to make it still, tightens it up, and then like literally chainsaws it.
Yeah.
But you're right. He will inevitably have to cut off his hand because it starts getting mega infected.
Yes.
Mega demoned.
Because once he cuts his hand off, that's when the hand starts going haywire and like running around the whole place. And it almost reminds me of like Tom and Jerry, but with a person and their hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like where the mouse is like running through the mouse holes and Tom is like constantly trying to like hit it with a mallet. But instead, this is a man shooting at his hand with a shotgun.
Yeah. It's kind of nuts because like he has this first. He's in how it starts is the hand's going crazy and it's making him hit like china, dishes, like all over himself. So he stabs his hand. Then he has to make sure that he cuts it off. It's the only way to do it. He cuts it off. And then, like you said, the hand's going to go into the walls and literally like he has to shoot the walls. And it's really cool because when he shoots the walls, you just see the blood just like pour out of the walls. It's kind of nuts.
No, but then the blood doesn't just pour out of the walls. The blood shoots out of the walls.
It floods.
Like a Nightmare on Elm Street geyser.
Yeah.
And then it starts to shoot like this black sludge at him almost.
Actually, imagine like filming this. It's cool because like this place, this cabin which looked okay, has now it just slowly is going to get worse and worse. Like what this cabin looks like.
Yeah. The deterioration of this cabin. And he's just maniacally like walking around, missing a hand with his shotgun.
He's fucking delirious. Yeah. And then that's when everything starts like coming alive.
And just laughing maniacally at him. You're right though. Like rewatching this right now. That deer head.
It's terrifying.
It is.
It's really creepy.
And the lamp like swinging back and forth and laughing. The book's laughing at him. The chinaware's laughing at him. It's like, he starts laughing.
Yeah. It's kind of nuts. He also before this sees like the evil Ash in the
mirror, right?
In the mirror,
which is something they do in Army of Darkness with evil Ash. So personally, Army of Darkness is actually my favorite of the whole series. I know a lot of people think Evil Dead 2 is the best of the series, but I just Army of Darkness, I just love that movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
But yeah, he fires into the door, right? Because he hears someone there. And that's when you find out he shot Annie?
I think he shoots...
it grazes someone.
It doesn't graze Jake, does it?
We'll find out shortly. This is why we always do rewatches as we're talking about the movie.
They're going to come right in through the door. And I know
because they subdue him.
Yeah, Jake that comes in and they fight a little bit on the floor. He punches him, but I think Jake punches him twice, knocks him out.
Yes.
And then throws him in the
basement.
Yeah, and then they all come in.
It's Bobby Joe.
Bobby Joe!
Bobby Joe was hit.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not sweet Bobby Joe. So she's been hit. They tie Ash up. They throw him into the basement. And now this is when she's like, what'd you do to my parents? You murdered. To be fair, if I walked into a cabin I knew my parents were at and I saw a man covered in blood holding a shotgun, I would probably also assume the worst.
For sure. Let's throw him in the cellar.
Not just throw, kick him, and then he goes head first. So does Bruce Campbell do every stunt?
I don't know, but
because that one looks really difficult.
That stunt looks like it would kill someone.
Yeah, because he's going down head first down breakable stairs.
And then Bobby Joe spits at him. He didn't deserve that.
He did not. He did not. To be fair, he did shoot Bobby Joe.
Yeah. So one thing you got to do when you're in a cabin and you're uncertain of what to do next, you got to listen to the tape recorder.
Yes. So if I ever go into a cabin that has nothing but a tape recorder, I am taking that tape recorder and I am burying it in the backyard and I'm not letting anyone play it because I know what happens when you listen to the random tape recorder at the cabin. Demons. It's always demons. And this one talks about how her father killed Henrietta and buried her in the cellar, and I'll swallow your soul. I'll swallow your soul.
Incredible. It's interesting how, like, for the convenience of the viewer, they're not listening to the same piece again, but it's almost like they're listening to it post-incantation.
Yes, they are.
For the remainder of it.
They're listening to the plot device incantation that will spawn Henrietta this time.
For sure. So it basically says that it's going to recite someone, and I love the father through the tape recording. So that she now realizes that the father's mentioning that he's killed her mother and buried her in the cellar, the fruit cellar.
Yes.
And he's down in there and he's like, oh, fuck.
So he's screaming, get me out, there's something down here. And then doesn't she come up and she's like, who's in my fruit cellar?
Yeah, someone's in my fruit cellar. It's incredible.
Ted Raimi, like, I love him.
Yeah,
he's so good as Henrietta.
The timing of this and the way this was done was so good. I really thought this was awesome.
Yeah.
Henrietta looks really, really funny too.
Like a bloated corpse. Like
exactly what it
looks
like.
And like Bruce Campbell's panicking, so he's hitting the thing, so they're struggling to get him out. And they do eventually get him out, but doesn't she morphs her face, right, into like this long giraffe demon almost.
She morphs into another looking demon. She tries to get a bite on his shoe. She does cut up Jake's face a little bit.
And then she grabs the other guy's...
The boyfriend, yeah, she grabs him too.
And she throws him headfirst into the wall, breaking the wall.
Yeah, more wall breaking.
Like there's so much head trauma in this movie.
They're going to, he's going to just stamp her out a little bit, and he's going to eventually just push her down back into the... Oh, I love that. When he steps on her head and the eyeball goes flowing right into Bobby Joe's mouth.
Ugh, it's all so gross.
Because they're going to get her back down in the cellar.
They do. They close the cellar back up, but this is an Evil Dead movie, right? It's not ever that easy.
No.
So obviously the boyfriend is going to turn to make more mayhem. So are we to assume that killed him, the head trauma into the wall?
I have to think that it's either that or just like... I thought it was like a biting or something, but it's like claw.
But then, because then why...
Jake didn't turn.
But we have kind of established there's kind of no exact rhyme or reason, because the one girl turns after she gets stabbed with the pencil, and she wouldn't have died from the pencil stab. So if it damages you, it could turn you.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much like what it looks like.
Yeah.
It could turn you on like any type of like
physical harm,
physical damage, or if you're like on the edge of death, I think then it can kind of like inhabit and possess your body.
Yes.
And then it always talks to them. Like this is common. Like we saw this kind of like last time too.
The floating taunting is just, it's so great. Like
I like the double like Henrietta, boyfriend, and then like essentially with like the object of the demon, how it wants to possess their body.
Always taunting them that they'll be dead by dawn, they'll never survive.
Dead by dawn. It's interesting because they mention at some point like a little bit of the backstory, how like the book didn't resurface and it was like essentially lost to everyone in the year 1300 AD.
Yes.
And they do kind of like find out that there was a hero in 1300 AD. And the hero does look like Ash.
Well, because that's the thing. It turns out to be him because he gets sent back to the past. It's very like the timeline's very interesting here.
Yeah,
but they kill the boyfriend with the axe, right? They just like dismember him.
Ash just carves him up. Yeah,
and this time he has green blood.
Yeah,
so
demonic green slime.
Yeah. And it's just the green slime is going everywhere, and he's just swinging loudly. He will not die, and.
I will point out, it looks like Ash's shirt is a lot cleaner than it was before. It won't be for long, but
there it is a little inconsistent with like the damage. Like sometimes he's got scars and blood, sometimes he doesn't. But it's like one of those things. It's like this movie's so entertaining and well done otherwise. Like you don't nitpick on little things like that because it doesn't matter for this movie.
There's also like low like downtime. There's like no time for settling for these guys.
No.
They're always getting attacked.
And that's the thing. You make the movie an hour. What is this? Like an hour 25 hour?
Yeah.
You're always moving and grooving and like something's always happening. You're never bored.
Groovy.
And this is my boomstick.
Ooh.
That'll be next movie. Can't wait. So they're like searching right now the house for like, I guess like a way out or just like clues or like how to deal with this. But like Bobby Joe is panicking. Like she wants to get out, so she runs out of the house.
Isn't this the scene where like they spot the hand again because the lights go out and she's like, "Who's holding my hand?"
Yes.
And then she notices that it's
A
Ash's hand.
Yes.
That he cut off, and then she just when they turn the lights off, she's gone, and then she's outside,
and she's
gonna get raped.
She gets that bad forest rape.
It's not the Necronomicon. It's like the Necro tree.
Yeah, because that tree's gonna gag her, it's gonna tie her hands and legs, and then it's gonna do its thing.
It like drags her through the forest, like you've seen it in like first one where a girl gets raped by the Necronometry, but this time it's gonna be her.
And it pulls her into a tree, and we don't see what happens, but we can only assume she has been murdered by that tree that she gets pulled into.
This thing goes in her
mouth. That's what I'm saying.
It goes
gags
into her
her
orifices.
And the pull scene is so awesome. Like she is just getting dragged through the forest.
Fucking water slide.
It's like penetrating her skin on her face.
Yeah.
Oh,
through the muck and the mire.
Just right into the tree, and it cuts right back to the cabin, and then breaking the pages open because they're gonna try to solve this through the pages that she brought in.
Yep.
And they're like, all right, we gotta leave. And he's like, I ain't leaving without my Bobby Joe. Bobby Joe, where are you, Bobby Joe?
You are absolutely not going outside.
Yeah.
She is probably dead already.
Yep.
Anything that goes out there is dead already.
He doesn't listen, though. Doesn't he hold them at gunpoint and saying, we're not leaving without Bobby Joe?
Pretty much. But as they look into the pages, unfortunately, Jake gets the shotgun.
Yes.
And he's like, all right, well, now he's like, you're going to listen to me. I'm in charge. I don't care what your stupid book and your Necronomicon. I'm the one with the gun, Shane.
Yeah. And I'm listening to the guy with the gun. He seems like a loose cannon. I'm a little scared.
What they did pick up from these, like, the ripped missing pages, that there's two parts of the incantation. There's the part that is more like you're evoking the evil to take possession of the life, but then you're also evoking the second part, which is sending that back to create that open portal.
Yes.
To go from this world to the next world. So basically to vanquish the evil.
Which is very important.
Yeah.
That's a very important plot point. So once he gets them with the shotgun, I forgot, where is he? Does he make them? He makes them go outside, right? To find Bobby Joe?
Yeah. He makes them go outside. Yeah, they get into a fight, and then he turns into the evil. He turns into the demon Ash.
Yes.
Because it's nighttime. And is this to believe that like he can get possessed
at night?
At night when it comes to night. There's really no trigger for it, I think.
I think the idea is Ash is this like special person that he's able to fight it.
Yeah, because he and I wonder if it's just the timing of it, because like the sun was like he never got fully taken over, but essentially he does become a demon when he fights with Jake. He does take Jake, and I think he like throws him the length of the forest into a tree, like head first.
But Jake is going to make his way back because like Evil Campbell is now trying to break in, but Annie grabs the skull sword that we saw from the first movie, and she's gonna try to stop Ash, but Ash actually comes to his own senses.
Yeah, he comes to his senses, and I know he like holds her in place. Like once he gets into the cabin, he's like, "Listen, like, he's like, it's not me anymore. It's not me anymore. I'm not the demon anymore." He's like, "I've conquered it."
And what's his name? Jake's gonna show up, but she thinks it's a demon, right? So she stabs Jake, and she has to like drag him to safety with this fucking gaping chest wound from the sword.
Yeah, that's right. Well, because she's still worried that Ash is still like demonic, but he's gonna approach her and
but sadly, Jake is gonna get pulled into the get pulled into the basement slightly, and like Ash is gonna hold on to him, and like he's gonna get demolished. Like his blood is gonna be shooting out of the basement like a geyser.
Awesome scene though. It's like the basement, like the cellar door's almost like munching on him.
Yes.
He's getting destroyed by the demon in there.
It's because Henrietta's still down there.
Just munching. It's
like I just love a good blood spray effect where it's just like shooting out like rapidly.
Yeah, they did that pretty good. I mean, this movie's just insane with the practical, like the first one was, but like even more crazy. But like this is what kind of gets him out of it too.
It's the idea of
he picked the locket, so it's just like I guess the idea of love is getting him out of the demon form.
So yeah, so is it the power of love saves you from being a demon?
It's a good question. He just never fully converted, and I think the stuff that's in this life is able to get him out of it.
Matt, look up if the power of love can stop you from being a demon.
Yeah, let us know.
So it's just the two of them now. They're all that is left, and
this is it.
Yes. So she's going to. He attaches the chainsaw right to his hand at this point.
This is where he gets the famous chainsaw and the shotgun, right?
Yes.
He cuts off, so it's like a sawed-off shotgun.
Yes. So he has the sawed-off shotgun. He has the chainsaw as his one hand now, and they're just going to start sawing through to the basement, right? Because they have to get to the basement to, like...
They need to get the pages, because the fucking Jake, he's like, you need to follow me. Fuck these pages.
Oh, and he takes the pages in the basement.
And he throws them downstairs.
You're right. So he's got to go downstairs, chainsaw hand and all, and he's going to search for these pages. But he gets attacked by the skeleton of Jake, right?
Yes. Yep. Jake Skeleton attacks him.
Jake Skeleton. I like that.
Yeah, he's... And the thing is, like, he has to fend it off.
Yes.
But he also finds the pages in, like, the murky water area.
Yes, and he's able to bring them back upstairs. But Henrietta attacks Annie.
I love this scene with Henrietta just, like... Floating up and just, like, messing with her.
It's so well shot. Like...
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I mean, like, he is able to get it. He is able to, get the pages to her. Yeah. But I think, doesn't... Henrietta, like, not only is she flying up, but I think she actually comes... and pulls him down through the stairs.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because he's like right under the stairs. People Under the Stairs, Wes Craven.
What a movie.
90s.
What a movie.
The 90s movie.
Maybe we'll touch that at some point.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe. We'll think about it. So he's like fending off all these demons. He has the pages. And then I know towards the end, Annie takes the sword to the back, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think now they're just battling
the demon.
They're battling the demon. And earlier in the movie, she saw like the real mother like singing a song to her, but it's really the demon mocking it. She's singing the song back, which distracts the demon.
Right.
And the demon like is full ostrich mode right now.
Full on ostrich mode. So Ash is just cutting limbs off left and right with a chainsaw hand.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. And even the spray clouding blood mist from it is pretty sick. He's going to say, swallow this.
Because it's like, I'll swallow your soul. I'll swallow your soul.
Eat this shit.
Yeah.
Swallow this shit.
Swallow this. It's so badass. But yeah, I forgot how she gets stabbed. Is it the hand again?
Oh, when she takes the stab wound?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good question.
That's the one thing I couldn't remember. Because I know she's going to get stabbed here at the very end.
Yeah, it's literally right here she gets stabbed.
Yeah, it's coming up here. So they embrace. We think everything is fine.
Is it something that comes through the portal?
That's what I'm trying to...
I know that...
Because the tree starts smacking the cabin. Everything's going wrong. So basically a Whomping Willow from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I mean, the Necronometry is coming through. It's like obviously branches are hitting all of them. They're literally breaking down the already deteriorated cabin.
Yeah. So they have to read the passage to get out of there. But the demon's coming through. She's reading the passage. The demon tree is just out here chomping as she's just reading the sacred words. Because if there's one thing I know about Ash, she can never remember the sacred words.
Oh,
it is the hand.
It's the hand with the sword. And that, like, while she's reading it, prevents her from finishing it at first.
Yes. And that's how she gets killed, because she takes the sword to the back. And then the demon hand comes in, and she's going to finish the words here. And this... then transports Ash out. And now Ash thinks he's getting transported to safety. Little does he know he's getting transported to the 1300s.
Yeah. That last word, that little Kandar, he's getting brought back to 1300 to fend off these things. It's interesting, too, the landscape of where he gets transported. It's also interesting the creature that's grabbing him.
Yes.
Because he also sees, like, all of the heads that it has.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's taking all these, like, demon souls.
He goes through his little Doctor Who portal.
With the, I love it, with the chainsaw and everything.
Yeah.
He wakes up to see just, like, all of these old
Knights,
a couple of friars, a couple of monks. They think he's the beast because there's a bunch of beasts. But that's actually not the case. They see him take out one of the winged creatures that's there.
A winged demon comes up. He shoots it with a shotgun, right?
Yep.
And then they all bow to him, the savior of the people.
Yep. And he saw this in the sacred, in the writings. It's like a prophecy, a sacred text. In the 1300s, there was going to be a savior, someone to help them from the demons, kind of looking like him.
Yes.
And that's exactly what's coming. It's warping you back in time to that event.
And he just starts, because when they're praising him, he just starts screaming, no, because they're all like, hail, hail, hail. And now he just realizes he is stuck.
Yep, he's stuck in the year 1300 as someone that's going to have to fend off all these demons for them.
Yes. Oof. What a horrible fate.
Not the greatest.
No. But yeah, that is Evil Dead 2. That is the start of Cabin Month. What a good way to start, because that movie was excellent.
Yeah.
And that's why I can only give it the fair rating of an 8 out of 10. It's my second favorite of the Evil Dead series. It's just so good. It just takes, like you said, everything from the first movie and makes it even better. Mm-hmm. The effects, the demons are a lot less annoying than in the first movie. Which is one of our problems we had with the first movie, was the demons got a little irritating over time. But overall, I just think this is a much better movie. Ash is perfect. Like, I even like the side characters more, like Annie and all of them, better than in the original. It's just like, you take what people consider one of the best horror movies and make it even better. That's like such an amazing feat. How many times can you say the sequel's better than the original? And this is one of those times. 8 out of 10.
I agree with you. I also have this movie as an 8. It's just a really exciting and fun movie to watch. I actually think that they do a good job of not giving you so much like background, and it has 2 separate stories that lead up well without like killing you with context, but just giving you enough that the movie is just from start to finish super fast paced, super fun. The slapstick's there, the humor's there. Bruce Campbell's incredible. The supporting cast is really good, and it just makes everything from the first movie, like you said, all those annoying parts, it makes it way better. The special effects are even better, and also add just a lot more humor onto it. It's just really fun, and there's really not much more I could say. It's just a really awesome movie.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, Necronomicon, I want to go Jake, where he gets pulled into the cellar and then the blood shoots out. I think that one's really good.
Yeah, because he doesn't kill the hand, although he shoots it and you see the blood splatter from the wall. But I do agree. I like the blood splatter from the cellar door. I think it's really cool. So I agree.
Okay. Jake, you were in love with Bobby Joe. You were willing to do anything to save her.
Bobby Joe.
Bobby Joe! Bobby Joe! Where are you, Bobby Joe? You were willing to risk literally everyone else's life just to make sure she was okay. You were willing to throw the pages into the basement to get people to help you. Little did you know, you can't beat demons without an incantation.
You need an incantation.
You bring the demons in with the incantation, you get rid of them with the incantation. You thought that shotgun was going to help, it ain't going to help.
Evoke, revoke.
Exactly. Brian gets it, but you don't. And your death, honestly, pretty iconic. Me and Brian, a sucker for a good blood splatter.
I love a good blood washing.
Exactly. And for that, we have to honor you in our Necronomicon.
For sure. There's always one character in these movies that always has to go arbitrary to everybody.
Yes, and it always makes things more difficult than they need to be.
It's crazy.
Always is. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the very beginning of Cabin Month. I know we have a lot more in store.
Yeah, this movie is a hoot, and I am so excited to continue Cabin Month because theoretically, how many weeks do we have? 4 in this?
I believe it's 4 weeks of cabin month.
Another month where we could do literally so many movies. Like, we have a really strong set of 3 more, but legitimately had so much difficulty compounding this list because there could be so many more.
There's so many options. There's so many cabins. A little bit of a different direction. This is a really good movie, but it's not a movie I feel like many people know about.
Sure.
So we're doing the cabin movie Honeymoon.
It's an interesting movie.
Yes.
100% cabin. It's kind of like a romance horror.
It is 100% a romance horror. And that's why I said it's a little different, a little under the radar, but it is definitely a movie that only takes place in a cabin.
Yeah. It's pure cabin, pure woods, very, very creepy.
Yeah. So with that said, we are the final podcast signing off, and we will see you next week in a cabin for our honeymoon.
Oh, that damn Indian food! I'll tell you,
It gets you every time.
Ruins your honeymoon. So I mean, ruins your first date, and then you got to do it on your way.
Wait, wasn't it an Italian food?
It was Indian.
No, because I'm doing the thing.
Oh
I'm doing the thing. I'm doing
son
the
of a
thing.
bitch! Yeah, guys, what you're doing there? Yeah, watch Honeymoon. You'll get the joke.
Watch it.
Yeah. www.thefinalpodcast.com. New episodes every week. We'll see you next week, but please, before we go, 5 stars in Apple Podcasts. Please give us that 5-star on Spotify as well, and we'll see you then.
Bye.